Hey, good evening. This is the Town of LaSalle Committee of Adjustment for December the 9th, 2020. Being that this is a virtual meeting, when I call your name, could you please identify yourself verbally or with a wave? So for the Committee of Adjustment for tonight, we have James Boscario,
Present.
Vince Marcotte,
Present.
Valentina Bernoni,
Present.
and Teresa Nicodemo.
Present.
Ryan Tufts, Planning Technician, Secretary Treasurer of the Committee of Adjustment.
Present.
Alan Burgess, Supervisor of Planning and Development.
Present.
And I'm your chairperson, and my name is John Lee. All applications are subject to a 20-day appeal period. Any person desiring to appeal a decision of this Committee of Adjustment may, upon request in writing to the Secretary, receive a copy of the decision to be used for an appeal. The fee for filing an appeal can be obtained from the Secretary Treasurer. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, that's noted. Adoption, could I have an adoption of the minutes for November 18th, 2020? Is there a motion? Teresa, seconder?
So moved. I second it.
That's carries. Are there any requests or withdrawals for deferrals, Mr. Tufts?
Unreceived.
Okay, the application on the agenda for tonight is B13-20, file 4100, Storage Enterprises Incorporated, application for consent to create one new lot for future development. And Mr. Tufts is going to make a presentation on the severance application at the time.
Okay, I'm just going to share my screen here. 1 second. Okay, so as John said, this is consent file B1320, file 4100. The severance is to create one new lot for future development. So the subject lands in its entirety are outlined in red, and it's generally at the corner of Huron Church and Laurier Parkway. This is the applicant's severance plan. So the parcel to be severed is approximately 23.63 hectares.
Ryan?
Yep.
Al's trying to get your attention.
Oh,
I'm just noticing the slideshow hasn't proceeded. I'm still on slide 1.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's mine.
is it on one?
Yeah.
You want to?
That's
There it goes.
better.
Just won't do full screen then. Maybe that had something. Okay, so again, the red outline would be the entire subject lands, generally at the corner of Laurier and Huron Church. The parcel to be severed is approximately 23.63 hectares, and the retained portion is approximately 4.37 hectares. So that would be here. The land is designated residential and mixed-use corridor in the town's official plan. It is zoned traditional neighborhood design residential, traditional neighborhood design mixed-use corridor, and recreational. This would be the current applicant's draft plan of subdivision, noting that the retained portion is not part of the plan of subdivision. So in this corner, bottom left. Would be the proposed construction of Fiorina Street as part of this application. So a summary of our comments conforms with the town's official plan. The severed and retained lands exceed the minimum requirements of the zoning bylaw. The severance will facilitate the future development of the site in keeping with the plan of subdivision that has recently approved draft approval from the County of Essex. Town engineering staff have indicated that there is a need to accommodate temporary and permanent drainage on the retained lands. This application should be approved with the following conditions. So 1 paper and 1 digital copy of the survey. The second condition is a severance agreement with the town pertaining to the subject lands to be registered on title at the entire cost of the applicant. including but not limited to such matters as the construction of Fiorina Street drainage, fees, easements, and other matters as they relate to the development of the lands. And then the third condition would be that the above conditions are fulfilled by December the 9th, 2021.
Okay. Mr. Tanner, you may speak to the matter now. Please introduce yourself and provide an explanation of the application. And please confirm that you've read and understood the staff report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Carl Tanner from Dillon Consulting on behalf of Sorge Enterprises, the owners of the property. Yeah, we have reviewed staff's report and recommendations and conditions of approval. We're in full support of those and appreciate administration's work on this file. It's very important that, and it's very timely. The reason for the severance is that the subdivision lands are going to be sold in late January. And so we needed to sever out the subdivision from the larger parcel. Sorge Enterprises will maintain and retain the retained lands for future development. As part of the approval, you will see that Fiorina Street was laid out, I think about 8 or 9 years ago. It has not been constructed yet. As part of the conditions of approval that the committee is looking at tonight, Fiorina Street off of Disputed will be constructed in the spring of 2021. And that, again, available for any questions, in full support of administration's recommendations before you, and hopefully looking forward to a favorable recommendation or favorable approval tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Tanner. Committee members, do you have any questions for Mr. Tanner? Vince?
Yes, just the parcels to be retained off of Fiorina Street. At this point in time, we don't know what's going in there other than it's residential. There's no patterns or anything like that. And then I guess back to you, Alan, is any concern of the committee on that aspect?
So just, yeah, thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, the property is zoned and designated residential. I think it's fair to say that the long-term plan is that land is developed for residential purposes. If you take a look at the plan of subdivision that's been approved, the draft plan of subdivision approved by the county, we can basically emulate the 2 cul-de-sacs on the retained parcel in the future. We have not gone through the draft plan of subdivision approval process yet, but that is the intention in the future.
Further to Mr. Tanner's comments, staff are in full support of the application. There will be further applications which will be necessary to allow for the development of those lands, including additional studies and for natural significance of the woodlot area. However, it's in a holding zone and it's appropriately zoned at this time.
Okay.
Okay.
Follow up, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
I happen to have been listening to a previous council meeting where, once again, going back to when I was mayor, people can't figure out where the frickin' sidewalk is going. I know that's beyond the scope of this, but on Fiorina Street, can somebody put some bloody, I don't care what it is, painting on the ground, whatever, but you're going to get a neighbor on either one side or the other complaining about a sidewalk, and that complaint is going to carry right straight through. So I've got no problem with the application. It's maybe out of our jurisdiction, but somebody in this whole area has got to figure this out one way or the other.
Go ahead, Al.
The good news is the developer and his agent have both agreed that as part of the construction of the road, they will be installing sidewalks on both sides of the street, and those will be installed contemporaneously with the pouring of the curbs and the installation of the street. So we won't have that issue in the future.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But unless you tell the neighbors now and get the fight over with.
Oh, they're going to be installed.
Carl, I'm sure, is familiar with it, especially even those, I don't know why.
Carl's really smiling there.
Yeah, yeah. We always follow the town's development manual, and we'll install them, as Alan said. Absolutely, Member Marcotte, we will consult with the adjacent landowners prior to. I think they're probably aware that it's coming. So.
Well, it's surprising when they get there, they'll tell us, they'll both tell us, I never knew this was street. I never knew there was a street there. I'm against it, and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Committee members, any other questions of administration? Seeing none, having heard any comments or current concerns made by administration, agencies, and the public, is the committee ready to make a decision? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Valentina,
Mhm.
second by Nick Teresa. All in favor? That carries.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mr. Tanner. Next
Thank you.
meeting is Wednesday, February the 17th, 2021 at 5 p.m. And could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
I just want to wish everybody a happy and safe holiday.
Yeah.
We obviously haven't met in person for several months, but I hope everybody stays safe and enjoys their time with their families.
Merry
Thank you.
Christmas.
Yeah, thank you. Merry
Thank you.
Christmas,
And
everybody.
everybody.
To all of you as well.
Take care.
Okay,
Thanks
bye-bye.
very much. Talk to you
Bye-bye.
later. Bye-bye.
John, will Santa be bringing you a new haircut?
This is a new haircut. What are you talking about? Mostly skin. Jim, you and I should grow a beard, and Vince, we're almost.
Yeah, yeah,
outnumbered
you
here.
know, yeah.
Did I
You
just
should.
get insulted?
No, I
No,
said you
okay.
should grow a
I'm
beard
just
like
wondering.
Ryan and Al. So anyway, have a great holiday, everyone. Thank you.
Okay.
You too.
everybody.
You too.